What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be talking about curtain walls in Revit. So when it comes to working in Revit, curtain walls are truly an amazing tool in Revit. They are this truly amazing system family that allows you to create curtain walls with just a couple of clicks and just a few settings. But if you don't know about all of the little settings, tips and tricks, they can be really tricky and frustrating to work with as long as you don't understand the system family properly. So I decided to create this tutorial that's going to be aimed perhaps more to beginners, where I'm just going to be explaining the whole workflow and how to use these complex system families in Revit. So that's what the topic of today's tutorial is going to be all about. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Revit, and if you're a beginner and would like to get to that intermediate level where you can actually complete projects on your own and produce all of the necessary project documentation, well, then for you I have just a course for that. So if you're interested, check out my beginner to intermediate Revit course. It's going to be available on my website, balkanarchitect.com. That is the first link in the description just below this video. So if you're interested, check it out. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get straight into Revit.
And here we are in Revit, so we're going to be starting off from just the home screen, then let's go to Models, go to New, and in this case I'm going to be using the Balkan Architect metric template. If you want to get your either metric or imperial version of my template, check out the link in the description. It takes you to my website where you can get this template. Anyways, let's just click OK and open up Revit. So as soon as Revit opens up here, I'm just going to go here to walls, and this is where you can create your curtain wall. So when you go down here, we have three types of curtain walls. We have the curtain wall, the exterior glazing, and then the storefront. Now the main difference between these three is the fact that the first one is basically a blank piece of glass, so just one huge segment of glass. Completely useless in my opinion, unless you're trying to create something just totally conceptual. Next we have the exterior glazing, which has the gaps between glass panels but doesn't have the mullions, and then we have the storefront, which basically has everything, so that's the one that I like to use. Anyways, it's just like creating any other wall. You click once, you click once again, and now you have your wall. Hit the escape key a couple of times, and let's go to the 3D view just to see what we have. So this is what that wall looks like. So we have a little curtain wall segment, and just automatically Revit is going to add all of the necessary mullions, the glass, and so on. Now, just like any other wall, you can change the base constraint, the top constraint, and also, of course, the height. So if I change this to 5 meters, it's going to be a bit taller. Moving on, let's select the wall again. Here also we have the vertical grid and the horizontal grid, so you can play around with the justification and the angle and the offset. Now I'm going to be talking about these a bit later on, so let's leave that for then. Now for the distances between the mullions, so the distances between the vertical mullions and the horizontal mullions can be all set up if you select the family itself, go into Edit Type, and then here you can set everything up. Under the vertical grid and horizontal grid, you can set up the layout, which type of a layout you want to use. Do you want to calculate by fixed distance, or you want to have the maximum spacings? So maybe you know that the maximum piece of glass is, I don't know, something like 1.6 meters. Then you can add that, and then Revit is going to kind of calculate that. And just make sure that none of these exceed 1.6 meters, and as you can see, it's going to make the distances basically equal for all of these. Now the downside of that, and the reason why I don't like to use that, why I like to use fixed distance, even though it does give us the little smaller segment on one side, so as you can see here we have a smaller segment than the others. I think this is the better approach, because then all of the panels are the same, so you basically just have to kind of print out a bunch of same panels. Now if you use that maximum spacing option, in that case for each different wall segment you're going to have different dimensions for those glass pieces, which is going to make the whole build later on a bit more expensive. So that's why I like to avoid that. Anyways, let's select that again, go back into edit type. You can also play around with the mullions. So as you can see here, the mullion that's going to be used in most cases by default is going to be the 50 by 150 millimeter mullion, but of course you can change that if necessary. You can open up the drop menu, and these are all of the ones that are kind of there with Revit. So they come automatically with Revit, and of course you can create new types if necessary, but I think these will do in most cases. Anyways, let's OK out of that. One more time, there we go. Now, you probably know about curtain walls, but did you know that you can actually create curtain wall roofs in Revit? So if you go here to the roof command, roof by footprint, open that up. It's going to ask us for the level. Let's go with level 2. Now here, when you open up the menu for roofs, the last one is sloped glazing. So you can actually create a roof that's going to be a curtain wall. Or, well, it's going to be the same construction as a curtain wall. So in this case, I'm just going to use pick walls to pick this wall. And then let's use simple boundary lines, but let's uncheck the define slope. There we go. Maybe something just like that, and then one here, just make it perpendicular. There we go, and then we can use trim and extend to fix this up. Perfect. And then when we hit finish, let's attach that. Now, in a lot of cases, you're going to get this error message. So when you change or when you attach your curtain wall to the roof, it might get rid of some mullions. So in this case, as you can see, this wall went up to here. That's why we have all of these mullions here. But of course, you can, Revit is just going to ask you, do you want to get rid of these? And then you just say delete elements, and there you go. Now for this curtain wall here, as you can see, it's sloped glazing, so it doesn't really have any mullions, any grids, and so on. Now don't worry, you can actually create those really quickly by selecting that element, going into edit type, and then here, as you can see, the layout is all empty, both for grid 1 and grid 2. So basically I just want to change this to fixed distance. In my case, of course, you can use any different one, and let's actually leave this like this for now, and then also for the mullions, you have to add the mullion. So let's go with this one, and just to fill this out a bit quicker, I can select it, go Control-C to copy, and then here I can just paste, 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 so just Control-V. There we go. Hit apply. And Revit is going to create something that looks like this. Now, of course, as you can see, these two don't match, so let's change the spacing here to 1.4 for the grid 1 and 2.4 for grid 2, and hit apply. Now, as you can see, it looks more equal, but we do have a problem. So, as I said, when you use fixed spacing, it's going to leave one smaller panel at the end. So one panel is going to be a different size or different dimension. And in this case, that's this one, but on the top one, it's this one here. Now, if you want to match that, what you can simply do is select your sloped glazing, and then you can go here to properties, and then here, if we find grid 1, the justification is set to beginning, but if you change that to end, it's just going to justify that at the end, and now the smaller segment is going to be here. And because these are both the same length and the distance is 1.4 meters, as you can see, everything is matching up properly, and that's exactly what we want to have. Now, something else you may have noticed is, let's see, there we go. Something else that you may have noticed is that here for these mullions, one is always going to go through, and then the other one is going to be split in half, which is kind of natural when you have any type of construction such as this. Now, you can actually edit this, so you can select the mullion itself, zoom in a little bit, and as you can see here, we have toggle mullion join on both sides, so you can actually change that on both sides. Now, you can change that individually like this in some very specific cases, but most likely you want to make the change for the whole curtain wall, and you can do that by selecting the curtain wall. Let's move it off to the side a little bit, go here into edit type, and then here the joint condition is currently at not defined, but you can set it to grid 1 continuous or grid 2 continuous, or border and grid 1 continuous, and then border and grid 2 continuous. So what's the difference between these two? Obviously grid 1 means that this one is going to be the major one, and then grid 2 means that this one is going to be the main one. So basically the difference is when you add border, it's, even though this is the main one, the vertical one, the grid 1, it still stops here at the top, because it would look kind of unnatural for all of these to go all the way to the top. But if you switch here to grid 1 and hit apply, as you can see, it's going to kind of split all of the top ones. But again, as I said, this is not something that you're going to see very often, so in most cases you want to use the border and grid. That's going to give you this, so here it doesn't apply. But of course, if we change it to grid 2, apply, now as you can see, these are the main ones. So again, as I said, you can change that manually one by one, or you can make a whole global change that kind of affects everything. And one more really cool thing that I would just like to show you for now. Now, this is kind of a bit more complex, and this is what I go over in my office building course. That's where I show you this. It's available currently on my Patreon, but it's going to be available on the website really soon as well. So if I go here into level 1, as you can see, you can edit the mullion to insert or to draw, just using detail lines, a little profile for your mullion. Now here I have a really simple one, but if you have those complex ones that actually look quite realistic, you can actually add those so you can have a realistic representation of your mullions here in Revit, which is really cool. And then finally, the last thing that I want to show you is how to add doors and windows to curtain walls. Now, what you can do is come to any curtain panel. So you want to hover over the curtain wall and just hover over one panel, but I suggest you go kind of to the side, to the edge of the curtain panel. It's going to make it easier to select. Then you want to hit the tab key. And now, as you can see, it says curtain system panel. Now, if you hit the tab key again, it says grid line, and then it says the other panel. So you want to kind of play around with the tab button, press it a bunch of times until you select the panel you want. And then when you select the panel, you can actually switch it out for something different. So in this case, I can add an awning window here on top. So as you can see, we can have just a window like that on our curtain wall. And as you can see, it's different. It has a frame, and it can actually open up. Now, you can also add doors. So for example, here, let's say we want to add a door, but we want the door to be kind of a double door, which is going to include a couple of these panels. So in that case, what you have to do is go here, find the mullion, unpin it, and then just hit delete. Next, you want to select the grid line, just like this. Then you can unpin that as well. Go to add remove segments, and then just check that. And as you can see, now you have just one huge panel. Next, you want to hover over the edge again, and then unpin this. Go to System Panel, and then find the door. Maybe let's use this door. And there we go. Now we have a door. Now, of course, if the door is a bit too large, you can always use the Tab key to find the grid line here, unpin it, and make the door smaller if necessary. And one more really important thing is when you're creating doors like this, find those bottom mullions and, oops, let's see if we can get rid of this one. Okay, it's giving us some trouble. There we go. So if you select both of them and delete them, now you won't have any mullions on the bottom for people to trip over, which I find to be important as well. And also keep in mind that the detail level is going to control how detailed your door is going to be. So there you go. Those are some really useful tips and tricks about curtain walls in Revit. I hope I have outlined the use of curtain walls and how can you maybe get the most out of them and how can you customize them for your project. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you have learned something new. So that's pretty much it for this quick tutorial. Now, if you want to learn more about Revit, check out my website, Balkan Architecture. revitaarchitect.com. The beginner to intermediate course is going to teach you everything you need to know to get started in Revit and to have the ability to finish projects on your own. And then also, as part of that, you will learn about curtain walls, and actually there are additional steps where I explain this in depth, how to do things like that. Also, one more thing here, these door families and window families were loaded in here because I was using my template, but if you're not using my template, you would have to do that manually by going to insert and then loading in those families. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share this video. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future tutorials, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.